Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be sewing the Children's Corner Lucy dress, so let's get started. I am using this adorable heart embroidered fabric from Hobby Lobby as kind of a Valentine's theme. The first step I did was cut out all of my pattern pieces. This pattern is super simple. You just need a front piece and a back piece of both your main fabric and your lining fabric. And then I cut 2 additional strips of fabric because I'm doing the optional ruffle hem, but totally optional, up to you. Once I had all of my pattern pieces cut out, it was time to start sewing. I went ahead and threaded my machine and wound my bobbin. The first step is sewing the side seams together of your main fabric, so I went ahead and did that first. I pressed my side seam open, and then I went ahead and started to place my piping. This was the first time I ever worked with piping, and it is definitely not perfect or super pretty, but I'm proud of myself for trying. So I went ahead and clipped the piping all around from one armhole through the neckline to the other armhole, and then I stitched that on. I did not use a piping foot or a zipper foot. I will definitely be doing that next time. This was kind of difficult with just a regular sewing foot, but you live and you learn. Once I got all of the piping stitched on, I stitched the other side seams of my main dress fabric. And after that, I went ahead and stitched both side seams for the lining fabric as well. Once I had both pieces stitched, I put the main dress inside of the lining fabric and lined that up right sides together so that I could stitch them together with the piping in the middle, kind of like a sandwich. I used lots of clips to hold everything in place when I was stitching. Then it was time to work on the hem. Since I'm doing the optional ruffle hem, I trimmed off 1 inch of the bottom of my main dress fabric, and then I took the strips of fabric I cut earlier and sewed one of the short ends together. I pressed that seam open and then pressed it in half. This is what's going to become the ruffle. I lengthened my stitch length so that I could do 2 rows of gather stitches on this piece, so I could gather it to create the ruffle for the hem. I forgot to get a clip of actually doing the gathering, but you just gently tug on those stitches till you get your ruffle the size of the hem. Then I pinned it right side together and I am stitching that in place. I did go ahead and do a zigzag stitch as well along the raw edge just to enclose everything. After that, I am pressing my lining fabric so I could hem that. The last step was putting in the buttonholes and the buttons. So I did the buttonholes on my machine and decided to sew the buttons by hand. This was such a fun and easy project. I will definitely be making more Lucy dresses in the future. I hope you enjoyed.